ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी का स्वागत है बच्चों। कैसे हैं आप? उम्मीद करता हूँ अच्छे होंगे। ये इंग्लिश 80 WPM डिक्टेशन क्लास है और ये इसमें जो है 1917 वर्ड हैं, 1917 वर्ड्स हैं इसके अंदर, इस डिक्टेशन के अंदर। वेबसाइट पर ही लगा दी गई है। वेबसाइट पर डिक्टेशन नंबर 43 है, न्यू डिक्टेशन फोल्डर के अंदर। 100 WPM न्यू डिक्टेशन का नाम से फोल्डर है, उसके अंदर डिक्टेशन नंबर 43 है। इनको लिखा करो, जिससे मतलब जो है आपका जो हम आज 3 ये टेस्ट होंगे बड़े, चौथा जो टेस्ट होगा वो होगा आपका फाइनल 1000 वर्ड्स का। तो पहले इनको अच्छे से लिखें और पढ़ें और टाइप करें। डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट आफ्टर 5 सेकेंड। Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, I would like to request the Honorable Minister that the poor deserving rural children should be given an opportunity to appear in these examinations. They cannot be the aspirants, they cannot come for these examinations only because they don't get opportunities, wider opportunities in the rural areas. The Joint Seat Allocation Authority conducts common counseling and allocates seats jointly for the Indian Institutes of Technology, National Institutes of Technology, and Indian Institute of Information Technology. I want that more seats, more funds should be allocated to such regional engineering colleges which are popularly now known as the National Institutes of Technology. Therefore, I want that more funds should be allocated for upgrading and also increasing the seats in each and every institute of technology. Coming to the admission of SC, ST, OBC and socially and educationally backward students, their enrollment is very small. Even if they are enrolled, they cut a very sorry figure to exams. It is because they do not have the same standards like the general category students admitted in these institutions. What I suggest to the Honorable Minister is this. My own experience in Government Engineering College in Kerala is that we have introduced a scheme in the first year to have remedial teaching for such students. Separate funds have been earmarked by the government. The principal and other teachers saw to it, and we have got a report that after 12 or 18 months, these students were able to come up to the level of an average student there. Another thing is, if you help students at the school level by having a learning room in each ward for such students where they are brought in the evening to study there, you will get good results. Or as we have introduced in SC/ST homes, wherever there are children who have come to 8 or high standards, rupees 2 lakh is given so that they can have a special room with furniture and a set of computers for these students for a proper training to come up so that they can study at par with other students. If we extend such support to these students, they can brought to the level of other students, and we need not cry that students from backward sections are not coming up to the level of others. Sir, the next point is about the student-teacher ratio. As of now, the student-teacher ratio is very poor. I request the Honorable Minister to ensure that the student-teacher ratio is complied with because these institutions are of national importance. There is a necessity to add more number of institutes in this country It is not only for Andhra Pradesh but for other states also. In every other state also, these institutes are necessarily to be established because, according to the reports available, there are about 12 lakh students who appear for examination every year for all India engineering entrance examination. According to the information available with me, as against the 12 lakh students who appear for the exam, as of now the seats that are available in respect of these 31 institutes, both IITs and NITs together, is approximately 28,000. So to say precisely, in so far as NITs are concerned, it is 16,000, and so far as IITs are concerned, it is 11,000. Altogether, at present, there are about 28,000 seats for 12 lakh students. Therefore, there is necessity in this country to establish more such institutes. Coming to the budgetary allocation that has been granted not only to this NIT but in the budget of 2015-16, rupees 40 crores for each of the institution have been granted. Similarly, for Central University, for Tribal University, and for Petroleum Ministry, only about rupees 1 crores or rupees 2 crores, a meager grant, have been sanctioned in this budget. Even in 2016-17, in the latest budget, more or less similar sanctions have been given. If this is the path which the Government of India is adopting, and this is the pace with which the Government of India is going and making the budgetary allocations year after year, how many years will take for the Government of India to complete the project? Because it is required to invest at least about rupees 1200 crores to rupees 1500 crores for each of such institutions of national importance. Therefore, I request the Honorable Minister to make the appropriate budgetary allocations and ensure that all the projects which have been envisaged and promised are completed as early as possible. Sir, coming to the reservations for locals in these institutes, 50% of the seats would be allocated to non-locals. That is criterion the students have been demanding everywhere, that at least 85% of seats should be allocated to the local students. So this has to be adhered to. I can give you one example. In the case of MCI and through NEET, 15% of the seats from each of the states would be pooled and given to the non-locals. If that is the criteria, if that is the yardstick which is followed, in that case, why can't it followed in the case of NIT also? Therefore, I request the Honorable HRD Minister to consider all these points and take an appropriate decision. Sir, many colleagues have spoken at length about the institutes of national importance and how this bill would be making a way for it. Sir, the National Institutes of Technology, Science Education and Research Act 2007 provides for declaration of certain institutions of technology to be institutions of national importance and to provide for instructions and research in branches of engineering, technology and a lot many other streams for the needy students. Sir, the national institutes of this nature which have come up so far. This will be the 37th institute in the country. In these national institutes of technology, because of the kind of importance that is attached to it, as is being said by several members, a lot of students aspire to get admissions because of the level of education, the name or the repute it has. Lakhs and lakhs aspirants appear every year for the entrance examination, and out of them a few thousand are selected. That itself shows its class, and if that is to be maintained, then naturally infrastructure has to be there, and accordingly even in the students and the faculty members, the ratio should be adhered to as has been specified by one of the colleagues. If these things are taken in proper spirit, then it will be able to come up to the reputation and the name which this institution has achieved over the years. That is how India is also rated at the best educational hub as far as the global scenario is concerned. Sir, there is fierce competition in appearing for AIEE exams and JEE exams. There has to be some equation. The government should pay a great deal of attention to the way these classes are conducted. The private operators conduct the classes, and an exorbitant fees is taken from the students irrespective of the fact whether their parents can afford it or not. That is also a question. Now, the support which is being given by the Government of India for this, I hope that Charity Minister would be able to shed light on it. I think rupees 40 crores is being given in the current financial year. But I think the expectation or the requirement would be much more than that, because of it being an institute or repute, and that too of national importance. We have seen the IIT Mumbai and all that. Despite the fact that it has been there for years together, but in terms of faculty, infrastructure and research also, the way things should be augmented or they should be supplemented, the Government of India is falling a little short by way of provision of grants which go to these institutes. After all, the success of any institution is gauged after the completion of courses when the students pass out. When students graduate, say after a BTech from the IITs, they should be retained within the country. Jobs should be made available for them in the corporate sector or in industries. They should be retained in the country even for post graduation. Otherwise, what usually happens is they take good education from an IIT, say take up the BTech course, then they go to IIMS, acquire a degree in finance, and then they rush to other countries where offers are very lucrative. So the pecuniary interest of such candidates is served. Those brains should be retained in the country itself. That would definitely help the country grow. I hope the Honorable Minister would shed some light on that. I went to IIT Delhi and I discussed with students. I told that I would first talk to those students who were ready to become faculty members. They wanted to become the faculty members so far as granting of a special category status to any states is concerned. It does not require any legislation. It can be done with an executive order as was done earlier. Since the present government is dilly-dallying on the issue for the last 2 years, I have proposed amendments to the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014. If the government had agreed to grant the special category status to Andhra Pradesh, then the question of amendment to the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act would not have arisen. The BJP-led NDA government is unnecessarily complicating the issue of granting special category status. This is as per Rule 25 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Rajya Sabha on private members' bills. A private member may also move a legislative proposal or a bill which he deems fit to be there in the statute book. He may give notice on this bill along with a text of the bill to be drafted by him, as the Secretariat may render only technical advice if so desired. In drafting a bill by private member, there are certain procedural requirements on all legislative proposals, whether government or private, since in respect of private members' bills, members may not have access to expert advice, and there are certain procedures regulating the consideration of private members' bills. Sir, in a private member's bill, in the contents of the bill, the foremost requirement in case of a bill, in the contents of the bill, the foremost requirement in case of a bill is that it should be within the legislative competence of Parliament. In other words, the subject of the bill should relate to the subjects included in the union of concurrent list contained in the 7th schedule to the Constitution of India. Notices of bills are required to be accompanied by copies of the text of the bill together with a statement of objects and reasons duly signed by the members giving notice. Sir, in addition to the statement of objects and reasons, a bill involving expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India must also be accompanied by a financial memorandum inviting particular attention to the clauses involving expenditure and also giving an estimate of recurring and non-recurring expenditures likely to be involved in case the bill is passed into a law. A bill involving proposals for the delegation of legislative power to any executive authority should be accompanied by a memorandum. 40 का बनाना पॉइंट 108 की स्पीड थी, 1917 वर्ड थे और ये पड़ी गई है 16 मिनट 17 मिनट 67 नहीं 16 मिनट कुछ में पड़ गई थी। ठीक है, 108 की स्पीड थी। इस क्लास के इतना ही बच्चों, वेबसाइट पे जैसे आप जिसको जाकर टाइप कर सकते हो, ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज .com। ठीक है, नमस्कार बच्चों।